Representative Bayham. This is House Bill 130. Mr. Gonzalez, you want to read it into the record?
Thank you, Madam Chairwoman. Members, this is House Bill 130 by Representative Bayham. Provides relative to the crime of molestation of a juvenile.
Representative Bayham on your bill.
Thank you, Madam Chairwoman. This bill, in essence, doubles the amount of the minimum sentence for molestation of a juvenile from 5 years to 10, and for cases where the victim is being supervised by somebody. The perpetrator is in a supervisory role. We do have some amendments here that don't affect the actual sentencing, but are related to the description of what a person in a supervisory role is.
Mr. Gonzalez on the amendment.
Thank you, Madam Chairwoman. Members, this amendment's at 2625, and it does the following. Amendments 1 through 3 are technical. Amendment 4 specifies that the crime of molestation of a juvenile also applies to a person who is in a position of a supervision or entrusted with a supervisory role of the juvenile that includes but is not limited to a religious, charitable, scientific, educational, athletic, or youth-serving purpose. And Amendment 5 removes provisions of proposed law relative to application of present law that involves clergymen and recreational instructors. And that's what this amendment set does.
Do we have a motion to adopt the amendment? Motion by Representative Horton to adopt the amendment. Any objections? Hearing none, let the amendment be adopted. Representative Bayham on your bill.
Thank you, Chairwoman Villio. We all, unfortunately, know someone who's been a victim of sexual abuse, and we need to do more to give these victims peace. We need to give them assurance that their perpetrator will not be victimized, will not be abusing them again. I believe that by doubling the sentencing, we will give them that confidence that they will need in order to continue with their lives and try to rebuild their lives after an absolute terrible crime is perpetrated on them. And I ask that this committee to adopt this bill.
Thank you, Rep. Bayham. I see you have a witness at the table. If you'd introduce yourself, sir.
Good morning, Madam Chairwoman, members of the committee. My name is Zachary Popovich. I'm an assistant district attorney in the 22nd Judicial District, which covers St. Tammany and Washington parishes.
And Mr. Popovich, I see you have a green card in support and will provide information if requested. I don't see any questions on the board. Did you have anything you needed to add to Rep. Bayham's statement?
Just that, and thank you for having me today,
Sure.
that I'm a prosecutor who specializes in prosecuting and trying cases like this. I'm here today because I think this is important. The vast majority of cases that we see as prosecutors, especially in my district, involve cases in which the molestation was committed by someone who is in a position of authority over the juvenile. And I believe that giving that survivor who has found the courage to come forward assurances that if we are able to do our jobs and if we're able to deliver justice to them, that they will be assured that that person who abused them, who abused that position of trust and authority over them, will not be out of prison, out of jail until they reach adulthood at the very least. Will provide them some level of comfort and assurances that they'll be able to heal from this.
Thank you, Mr. Popovich. I don't know if you know this about me, but not only was I a prosecutor, but I was a prosecutor in the 22nd JDC like you at one time. So thank you for being here, and give my regards to everyone over there, please. And the new DEA, Colin Sims. We have green cards in support from Zach Daniels, LDA Executive Director, Libby Saunier, Louisiana Policy Institute for Children, Morgan Lamondre, Star, Billy Joe Harrington, President of the LDAA and District Attorney for 10th JDC, Katie Hunter, Lowry, Vera, Louisiana, Kevin Hayes with Chiefs of Police Association, and Susan East Nelson, Louisiana Partnership for Children and Families. Ms. Nelson, your green card is marked for testimony. If you want to come to the table, please. And the other green cards are in support, and either would provide information if requested or present in support and do not wish to speak, so we'll place those in the record. Ms. Nelson, good morning.
Hi,
Please
good
introduce
morning.
yourself.
Susan East Nelson. I'm the Executive Director of the Louisiana Partnership for Children and Families. In a prior life, before I came here to work in the state capitol in Louisiana, I was the co-founder of the Legislative Drafting Institute for Child Protection, and I was a legal fellow with the National Association to Protect Children. Those are both molestation prevention and remediation organizations that are national in this country. And I just want to say, molestation is a crime that is permanent for these kids. And in my opinion, honestly, I don't think 10 years is enough. And so one of the things I pulled was the federal sentencing guidelines for the creation of child pornography, which we know that molestation is one of the ways that they create child pornography. And their minimum is 10 years. So these are crimes that we know the perpetrators of cannot be repaired. The people who commit these crimes, that proclivity doesn't go away. And so I would argue that 10 years is too lenient. But I absolutely support this bill. I absolutely support this legislation. And anyone in a position of authority over a child, that's such a sacred bond. And so I support this legislation.
Thank you, Ms. Nelson. I hope my truth in sentencing legislation with the governor from the special crime session helps with that, and certainly over the next year or more. I do believe we're going to be looking at all of the sentences, but I appreciate the testimony and certainly share your concerns. Rep. Cox.
No, Madam Chair, just at the appropriate time, I'd like to move favorably.
Thank you.
As amended.
Thank you, Rep. Cox. Rep. Knox.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I was going to do the same. Representative Bayham, thank you for bringing this bill. I do agree that it may not be enough, and I was curious, would there be consideration if a pregnancy results at the age of 13 or under by someone who was entrusted with a child in the manner that's described in the bill? I would welcome you to entertain that. We've heard numerous stories of young girls getting pregnant by men, so-called men, and that leaves a trauma that has been testified to for a lifetime. And so we need to at least put these guys away, these so-called men away, for as long as we can to give some peace of mind to the victim.
Thank you, Rep. Knox. I do not see any more questions on the board, and we do not have any red cards in opposition. We have a motion by Rep. Cox to report as amended. Do we have any objections? Hearing none, let HB 130 be reported as amended. Thank you, Rep. Bayham. Thank you, Mr. Popovich.
You.